Make mistakes, and I mean a lot of mistakes. Not only will you improve at what you do, but you'll get to where you want to go. That's what we're talking about in today's Coffee Time Chat, where we get real and talk about things that we all know but don't really say. Now here's the thing, we're super scared of making mistakes. We don't want to make mistakes. We have so much guilt and embarrassment and sometimes even shame attached to making mistakes. But honestly, what we're going to look at in this video is how mistakes is how you actually learn life lessons and get to where you want to go. We are conditioned in today's society to be so terrified of making mistakes. We're so scared to make mistakes, and we have so many negative emotions attached to making mistakes. We have so much shame, guilt, embarrassment when things don't work out because of mistakes. But honestly, the sooner we change our perspective, the sooner we can recognize mistakes for what they are. Help us in life lessons. In my last video, I talked about being a perfectionist and how that can really hold you back from reaching your dreams and achieving your full potential. In this video, I want to talk about making mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, and yes, lots of them. Why? Because that's the only way you're going to improve at what you do and learn important life lessons to get to what it is that you want to do. Now, as I said, we are conditioned. There are so many negative emotions that we attach to making mistakes, but as soon as we shift our mindset and have that change in perception, the easier and the more rewarding making mistakes can become. Now, the number one thing is we should be able to learn from our mistakes. Here's the thing, you're never going to improve or get better at something if you don't make mistakes. And chances are, usually when you're trying to do something new, you want to step out, you want to do something, there's always going to be a learning curve, a learning process that naturally involves making mistakes. And here's the thing though, those mistakes are important because it helps you improve your craft or help improve what it is you're trying to do, and it helps you get in better, and you wouldn't be able to even get that kind of learning process and development of how things get better if you don't make mistakes. So the next time you make a mistake and you catch yourself going down those feelings of guilt or shame or embarrassment, just again stop and think about now, this is getting you closer to what you want to do. Now, I love this principle and I think of it like the process of elimination. You get closer to what it is you want to do and you find out more clearly what it is you want to do when you kind of make the mistakes and find out what it is that you don't want to do. What I mean by that is so many times people are afraid to step out and try something new or do something new because they stop themselves in their mind by rationalizing and thinking about it in their mind so much that they talk themselves out of taking action because they think, you know what, I'm going to make a mistake, it's not going to work, it's never going to work out the way I want, so I'm just not going to start. But here's the thing, with the process of elimination, by you stepping out and doing it, yes, you might make a mistake, and yes, it may not work out, but that's okay. You then stop that, and you try something else, and you step out again, and maybe it works. If it does, fantastic, you end up developing from there. But if it doesn't work, and there's another problem, doesn't work out again, that's a good thing. You simply recalibrate and start again, and then you step out again. And in this way, with the process of elimination, you get that much more closer to what it is that you do want to do, rather than sort of being stuck on something that you think, this is what I want to do, but being too afraid to actually step out and do it. Now, with this specific tactic, so to speak, I do know there can be a lot of feelings of shame or embarrassment or even guilt. I have talked to a lot of people, I know a lot of people, and I've kind of been through similar situations myself where you want to do something, you go ahead and you step out and it doesn't work out. And then you think, what will people think? What will my friends think? What will my family think? Why? Because I said I wanted to do this and it's not working, and now if I change and do something else, they might judge me or criticize me or think, oh, well, that didn't work. How is this going to work? It's a very real emotion, and it's a very real thing that, again, we attach to making mistakes. And it either terrifies us into not stepping out in the first place, or it terrifies us into staying in doing the same thing, even when we're not happy and it's not working, because we're afraid of what people will say or think. Now, if I talk about myself and my example, I remember when I was at university, I really wanted to study law, and I did study law, and I was super happy. But I remember in like the third year, I kind of realized that this wasn't for me. I realized I didn't want to do it. And my sister also studied law, and she had this passion for it that I just didn't have. And I knew at that point that it wasn't for me. But here's the thing though, I still didn't think that as a mistake in terms of I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done this. There was still a lot of things I learned, and it got me closer to what it is that I do want to do. I then decided I wanted to do acting, and I was taking theatre classes, and I then remember moving to Toronto because they had amazing studios to do acting, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And I was taking acting classes, and I was making a lot of my earlier videos on my other channel, which I couldn't get access to for some reason. A lot of those videos were about starting out in acting, how to get started, what it is you want to do, and my experience in taking classes and auditions. And then after a while, that was also something that I kind of fell out of love with, so to speak. And again, I had these same feelings of guilt, embarrassment. It's not working. Is it a mistake? What have I done? What will people think if now I don't want to do this? But honestly, that's what I kind of realized. It's okay, because again, making mistakes is how you'll realize what it is that you actually do want to do with the process of elimination. And here's the thing, I mean, long story short, I then also have worked in HR, I've worked a lot in finance, I've also done a lot of teaching English, so I've done a lot of different things, but each time I'm getting closer to what it is that I do want to do. And here's the thing though, when I look back, I don't even see them as mistakes, because these opportunities have been important life lessons for me to get closer to what it is that I do want to do and to know exactly what it is that I want. And it's also given me so many skills that I can now use going forward, which is going to be my next point. Making mistakes is the perfect way to get so many transferable skills and learn what your strengths are and learn what you're good at. When you make mistakes and something doesn't work, that's amazing, because then you realize, hey, maybe I'm not so good at this, or maybe I am good at this, I just need to improve and work on it more. You get to really hone in on your strengths, your skills. You learn so much that even if you don't use it in this thing that you thought was going to work out, that you thought would make you happy, that you thought is what you see yourself doing, those transferable skills can easily help you in the next thing that you then venture out to do. These skills are super important life skills that you can then use and become a more rounded person that's going to make you an asset in the next thing that you decide to do. For me, even though I don't practice law and I didn't want to go into it after my law degree, the skills, the transferable skills that I learned from there really helped me in my HR jobs, in my finance jobs. And then my finance jobs and HR jobs in professional companies, they have helped me in my teaching English and teaching business English. So all of these skills, all of these things that I've done have really helped me do what it is that I want to do now with all the skills that I need. Similarly for traveling, I love traveling. I've moved around so much, and sometimes that can be seen as, where are you going? What are you doing? You're always moving around, you're not settling down. But even those skills of being able to adapt, be flexible, live in a new country, live in a new city, all those skills it's given me, I can't even explain or begin to explain how important they are and how much it's shaped who I am today. Now, one point I am going to add about this is, don't ever feel that you're on somebody's timeline. Yes, the road to what it is that you want to do, the road to success, so to speak, is paved with life lessons in the form of mistakes. You're not on somebody else's timeline. You're not on somebody else's timeline to do something, achieve something, or get somewhere. You're always on your own timeline, and your experience is different from everybody else's. So don't put pressure, and it can be easy said than done, but try not to put pressure on yourself to be like, I need to be a certain place, do a certain thing by a certain time, because so and so is already doing something, or so and so expects me to do that. You're not on somebody else's timeline. So don't be scared that this path between you and where it is that you want to go is going to be filled with possible detours and mistakes and life lessons and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because you're on your own journey, and as cliche as that sounds, your journey is not going to be the same as somebody else's. And for what it is that you want to do, your journey might need you to go through these little detours so you have the right experiences, the right skills to really excel at what it is that you're going to end up doing. And one thing I do want to end with is, when you make your own mistakes, they're your mistakes. So you can own up to them and be like, you know what, I made a mistake, I learned this, I'm moving on. But when you do something that other people want you to do, and you do things that people expect of you, and you make mistakes, that can easily lead to resentment. Why? Because I made this mistake, I shouldn't have done this, and I did it because of you, it's your fault. Or you end up kind of shifting blame on somebody else. That's why I just think it's better, make your own mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, but at least they're your mistakes and you'll be able to learn from them. So that's my short video and my thoughts on make mistakes, and lots of them. Why? It's going to get you closer to what it is that you want to do, closer to where it is you want to go, and you'll also improve at what it is you want to do. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm very curious and interested to know what you think. And again, thank you for joining me for today's video, and if you haven't already subscribed, I do encourage you to consider subscribing. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.